All right, you have to hear this story. For 60 years, there's been this ghost story in the animation world. A piece of film that was whispered about, something that was said to exist, but nobody could ever prove it. Well, that all changed yesterday.
Yeah, 6 decades. This thing was the stuff of legend. For the lost media community, it was a genuine holy grail. And then, just like that, it pops up online. A 60-year-old mystery solved literally overnight. And this was the reaction. Just pure, unfiltered shock. This one post on Reddit sent this massive shockwave across the internet. Everyone who had been searching for this thing suddenly realized the impossible had actually happened.
Okay, so to really get why this is such a bombshell, we need to go back, way back, to the very beginning of this completely bizarre and fascinating legend. This is Uncle Walt. It was made way back in 1964 by a film student named Robert Swarthe. His whole idea was to create this dark, unofficial parody of all those wholesome cartoons everyone grew up with. Think of it like the evil twin of Mickey Mouse, designed to be a protest against that squeaky clean image. Now, you might be thinking, oh, just some edgy student project, but nope. The creator, Robert Swarthe, was the real deal. He went on to get 2 Academy Award nominations and did special effects for massive films like Close Encounters and Star Trek. So this wasn't just some crude fan-made thing. It was the early raw work of a true talent, which just made the mystery around it even bigger. And this just shows you how much it went against the grain. Classic cartoons were cheerful, for the whole family, full of color. Uncle Walt was the total opposite, reportedly dark, violent, and packed with adult themes. It took that cozy, familiar style and just twisted it into something really unsettling. And here's how it became a myth. It was only shown a handful of times at some conventions, and then it just disappeared. Swarthe himself said he had the one and only copy. And the real kicker, he said he was never ever going to let the public see it. So for decades, that was that. It was this total enigma, locked away by the guy who made it. So after decades of nothing, absolute radio silence, all of a sudden there was a glimmer of hope. But as you're about to see, that hope very quickly turned into a whole lot of frustration for everyone who was waiting. It all kicked off in January of 2025. A company called Thunderbean Entertainment. They specialize in restoring old, obscure cartoons. They dropped this incredible announcement. They somehow got a copy of Uncle Walt and were planning to release it. The community just went nuts. The wait was finally over, or so they thought. But then came the delays. The April release got pushed to June, then June got pushed to August, then August got pushed to October. By early 2026, a whole year after the big announcement, the DVD was still nowhere in sight, and everyone's excitement had pretty much turned to doubt. Just when everyone was starting to give up hope on an official release, the story didn't just end. No, it exploded in a way that literally nobody could have seen coming. Totally out of the blue, an actual 16mm film reel of Uncle Walt just shows up on eBay. This was wild. The film that supposedly had only one copy, locked away forever, was now up for grabs for the highest bidder. Anyone could buy it. And the final price for this legendary piece of animation history? A shockingly low $172. An anonymous bidder won, and just like that, the film vanished back into the shadows. So what happened there? Well, the lost media community actually got together to try and buy it to preserve it. But as YouTuber L Supersonic Q explained, they got beat by a last-second bid. A snipe. Some mystery buyer just swooped in at the last second and snatched it, leaving everyone totally crushed. And just when you thought things couldn't possibly get any stranger, lightning struck twice. A year later, another reel, a completely different one, popped up on eBay. That whole foundational myth of a single impossible-to-find copy, it was officially shattered. This time, though, the price was a little different. After all the hype from the first auction, this second reel sold for a staggering $4,000. So now you have 2 separate copies sold to 2 different anonymous buyers. The mystery was just getting deeper and deeper. So after all that chaos, the announcements, the delays, the insane auctions, the mystery buyers, where does that leave us? The film has been found more than once, but is it actually still lost? Let's just break it down. Thunderbean's release is basically in limbo. We know there are 2 physical copies out there in the wild, owned by anonymous collectors. We've seen screenshots from the auctions, which is amazing, but the actual moving film, nobody in the public has seen it.
This whole saga just forces us to ask some really big questions. First of all, that one copy myth is obviously not true. So how many prints of this thing were actually made back in the 60s?
And you've got to wonder, who are these anonymous buyers? Are they serious film collectors who want to preserve history? Or are they private owners who are just going to keep it hidden away, just like the creator did? The silence is deafening.
And that, of course, is the million-dollar question. After 60 years of searching, are these new owners going to share what they found and finally put the mystery to bed? Or is Uncle Walt just going to stay a private treasure, only seen by a handful of people? Which really brings us to the final weird question. The physical tape has been found. The hunt is, in a way, over. But in our world, where found usually means everyone can see it online, what does it even mean for something to be discovered just to get locked away again? We can finally say the tape exists, but we still can't say we've seen the film.